Good afternoon and welcome to That's Entertainment on Inspire Radio with Brenton, and my guest co-host today is Matthew. Hello Matthew, how are you?
Good, thanks to yourself, Brenton.
Not too bad, and welcome aboard the Inspire team.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Excited.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit with you a little bit later about what you've done in the past and everything, and what brings you to Inspire. But in a few minutes' time, folks, we've got a special telephone interview that we're going to be doing with actor, director, producer Greg Apps and his partner Robin Gibbs. Greg was he's been in a lot of things. He's been in going back, let's have a look at his acting career. So class of 75, so that was 1974. Then he did Sunday Too Far Away, Homicide, Mad Dog Morgan, Bluey, The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Chopper Squad, The Young Doctors, a TV show called Home. He did Hunting, he did Garage Days. So he's got a huge career behind him, and a lot more to come. Now, before we get to that, that's about 3 minutes' time. But before we get to that, folks, last month you might remember we had a couple of actors in here promoting their show, The Dresser. One was Peter Neves and his co-star James Hagan. And we did mention James Hagan last Thursday on the show very briefly because Livy, who was helping me, we just mentioned his name and how he'd worked with her before as well, and how great an actor he was. Last Thursday night, I learnt that sadly James passed away. He suffered a fatal heart attack earlier in the week. And so it was very sad, considering, to think that I was probably his last radio interview. And James was a wonderful actor and voice coach and director and everything. And his funeral is on Monday afternoon, and I'll get the details on that for any actors out there who wish to attend, but as a special tribute on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, we will be broadcasting that interview from June 3rd. So right now, though, we'll go to an ad, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have Greg Apps and Robin Gibbs on the phone. So here you go.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I am one of the pastors at Lifeway Church. Our motto is to share, to care, and to dare. To share God's love, to care for the people in the community, and to dare to make a positive difference in their lives.
And I am Jill Vester, also one of the pastors here at Lifeway Church. One of our treasures are all children and their families. We want to help the children grow into valued people in society. We love to help those in need and to share the gospel of love. Isa sa yaman natin ay ang pamilya at ang ating mga anak. Ang layunin namin ay ang tulungan ang mga batang lumaki ng may disiplina, respeto, at pagpapahalaga sa sarili.
Our address is 141 Mears Avenue, Parmelia. This is on the corner of Wellard Road and Mears Avenue. Our service starts at 10:30 a.m. every Sunday, and we even have an exciting children's club. Please stay after the service for a cup of tea and coffee and to meet new friends. We look forward to seeing you soon. If you would like more information, please find us on Facebook by searching for Lifeway Christian Center or via phone on 08 9419 5651.
You should go, you should go, you should go to Ceramico. You should go to Ceramico for a renovation or building something new. Everything you're looking for is under one roof, from showers to tiles and everything in between. We've got you covered for all your bathroom needs. You should go, you should go, you should go to Ceramico.
Friendly staff, affordable prices, and comfy seats? United Cinemas in Rockingham is a hidden gem for movie lovers. Perfect for your next date night, family activity, or just to catch up with friends. Enjoy the film with your favourite chop top and wash it down with a cuppa freshly roasted by Perth's Carbon Coffee Roasters. Visit United Cinemas website to check out session times and buy your tickets.
Welcome back to That's Entertainment with Brenton and Matthew on Inspire Radio, and we've got Robin and Greg on the line. Hello, are you there?
Hello, yeah, we are.
Hello, Robin. How are you?
Hello, very well indeed. How are you going, Brenton?
Really good. Has Greg joined you in your room yet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hello,
we're
Greg.
both here.
Yep.
So now, Greg,
How's
you
things?
really good, really good. I actually had a couple of drinks with one of your friends the other day. What was his? Steve Bisley.
Oh, Biz.
Yes, he's over here in Perth at the moment. He's been here for about 6 months, so we caught up for a couple of drinks on Sunday.
What's he doing over there?
Well, he's got a Mad Max marathon on coming up.
Right. Yep. That's a yearly thing.
Yeah, but he was probably here on personal business as well, and
Okay.
and I just messaged him and said, look, while you're here, let's catch up for that beer we've been talking about for the last 12 months, because he was going to come over last year, and unfortunately, the borders went up, and
Yeah.
Yep.
But
he's a good man, Steve.
he's a very good man, a very good man. So
Yeah.
now.
Very fond of Steve.
Yeah. Now, Greg, you've obviously had a very long acting career. I'm just looking at IMDb at the moment. Your IMDb starts back in 1974 with Class of 75. But
Don't tell anyone, Brenton.
I wasn't born then. I don't think I was born then, so that must be a typo.
well, I'll make you feel really old, Greg. I was only 4 at that stage.
Thanks, Brenton. That's not helping.
Oh well, look, the Australian television, especially back then, was huge. I mean, you had Class of 75, you had Young Doctors, you had all sorts going on. You had Number 96, and it was a huge television industry. I mean, it's still a big industry, but it was really huge back then, I think. But yeah, now, but Greg, now you direct and produce and everything, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do today, instead of talking about your experience with shows like The Young Doctors and so forth, what we're going to be talking about today, because I have a lot of actors, especially beginner actors, listening to the show. And so what we'd really like to do is to get some information from you, get some tips for actors, how to get into the industry, how to what they can expect. I mean, having been in the industry myself, I mean, this is my 41st year in the entertainment industry. I started when I was 10. I went to a filmmakers retreat that the South Australian Association of Screening Education was running, because they wanted actors 10 and up for this filmmakers retreat. It was like the 48-hour film challenge, and so I went along to that because I really wanted to be an actor, and I nagged my parents. Mind you, it was only $20 for the whole weekend, and it was a long weekend, and they got rid of me for $20 for the weekend. Probably equivalent of sending someone to the movies these days. When I got there, one of the organisers came up and said, look, because it was up in the Adelaide Hills, which was miles away from where I was living, and they said, okay, how much acting experience have you got? And I said, I haven't got any. I've never done acting before. And they said, oh, what are we going to do with you then? Because obviously you can't learn to be an actor in a weekend. And that's what they said to me. There's no way they were going to ever be able to teach me to be an actor there and then. So they went off, had a meeting, they came back and said, look, we're going to guide you and we're going to teach you how to direct. So my first experience was directing my first short film at the age of 10.
Great.
Yeah. So
Right. And since then, Brendan, what have you sort of, gone on from that? Have you directed other things?
well, I've directed a lot of stage plays. I've acted in a lot of things. I'm a screenwriter, and I do have a film that I was going to be making in Melbourne, and then of course I moved over here to Perth, and so the film was put on hold in Melbourne, and then cast. I just said to the cast, look, it's not going to happen in Melbourne, so we're going to actually film it here in Perth, and that's a film called Iniquitous. But that's been sitting on the pipeline there for about 4 years now. But
Takes a long time.
it is a long time.
Take.
It is a long time. I mean, I've done a lot of short films and things, but I'm directing community theatre, and I do have this film waiting to be made, and other films that I'm writing in the pipeline.
I gotta say, Iniquitous is a great title.
I love that title. It's an interesting title, but I really like one-word titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's impacting. So yeah, but no, what? So like I was saying though, there's a lot of beginner actors out there who don't know how to get into the industry. They don't know where to start, and it's not an easy industry to break into. So I thought we might pick your brain, if you will, about the industry, give some acting tips, give some audition tips, and talk about the first steps or the first few steps to get into the industry. How does that sound?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Whatever your listeners would benefit from.
Well, they'll benefit from anything, especially someone with the experience that you've got.
Okay. Well, you may or may not be aware, Robbie and I are partners in a kind of a business called the Audition Technique, and we teach actors online. So therefore, we're able to we have a global audience.
Mm-hmm.
We have students from America and Denmark and England and all sorts of places.
Can I just go back a little though, Brenton? Just to say, both Greg and I have been actors for many years. I don't know if you've seen my resume, but probably not.
I haven't, Robin, and I do apologise for that.
That's quite okay. I've had a lot of experience in front of the camera, and Greg and I, after many years of not being able to pay mortgages and whatever else, decided there's got to be a better way to earn money. So we decided to open the first casting consultancy in Melbourne, and that was under the title of Liz Mulliner Casting.
Liz Mulliner?
And that, yeah.
I remember Liz Mulliner.
Yes, I'm sure you would. So that was, 40 years ago?
Yeah, 85.
85, yeah, 85. Anyway, whatever that is. So we started Liz Mulliner Casting, and then we broke away from that and became Prototype Casting.
Mm-hmm.
And we were Prototype Casting. We were the first ones in Fox Studios. We were in Melbourne for a long time, and we were the first ones being invited into Fox Studios. And then after seeing many actors basically, I won't say fail in the audition process, but not do their best work in the audition process, we tried to work out a way that we could teach them how to audition, because our thing is auditioning is not acting. And that means that it's a different medium. Your audience is different, the screen is different, everything is different to actually acting when you are auditioning.
I think that's it. I'd say that sort of auditioning is more closely related to busking rather than auditioning. And as Robbie pointed out, the kind of, and the key difference is the audience. The audience is watching the same material again and again and again.
Definitely.
The audience that's watching your audition is hugely experienced in just watching auditions.
Yeah.
That's we do. And then, of course, the digital age has changed that again, because now suddenly I don't have to stand up and walk over to the tape machine and move the tape out or rewind it or something like that. It's the digital age. It's kind of, the power of the mouse is enormous in terms of making or breaking careers.
Yeah, definitely. Because I run community theatre, and I've also auditioned a lot of people. There's a lot of people going for roles. I mean, when I was running auditions for Iniquitous, when we were going to film it in Melbourne, I think I had 700 applicants, and I had to narrow that down to 30 for each character, and then sat there for an entire, or probably 2 full weekends, interviewing or auditioning people. And you do get, there's a lot of people and they'll do exactly the same thing. Whatever's written in the script, that's what they've prepared. They're not standing out. This is something I run acting classes on a Thursday night here at Inspire Radio, and I tell my students, you've got to stand out in your audition, whatever you're going to audition. Like, if you're doing a soap ad, for example, and I use a soap ad as a good example, because if people just say, let's say it's doing a, Lux Bar soap ad, I use Lux, and they're always, every audition for that particular ad would be exactly the same. Whereas if you want to, and the director or the casting director is not going to remember you because you don't stand out. You'll probably look exactly the same as every other person that's going for the role. And you're also going to be doing exactly the same movement that is written in the script. But if you take that script and you evaluate it, I think that's the word, and you find different things in the script that you can do to make yourself stand out. You could, take the bar of soap in your hand and give it a good smell and go, I use Lux.
Sorry, pardon my mirth.
Do you see what I'm saying? And when I was auditioning for Iniquitous, we had a bank scene, and I had because I'm playing a small cameo in it as the bank manager, just as my Alfred Hitchcock moment, and I had there's in the script and in the audition script, it was I'd tell one bank staff member off for having toy cars on her computer screen or something on top of the computer, and I'd say, look, told you before, this is a bank, not a toy store. Get rid of all that crap off of there, and I would turn and face the other one, and that particular staff member is supposed to flip the finger at me. And if, I had because I couldn't see them personally at the time because I had my back to them, but I had a panel there who were doing helping with the auditions. They were doing readings. And I was videotaping. I always videotape everything. And they everyone was just flipping the bird, and then I had this one actress, and when my back was to her, I'll put it this way: the panel said to me, "You are going to wet yourself laughing when you watch this back." And so when I was watching it back, she flipped the bird, and then she mimed pulling down my trousers and doing all sorts of things behind me, and then when I turned around, she just went back to doing whatever she was doing. And of course she was going to land the role. Unfortunately, we're not filming in Melbourne now, but she did actually land the role because she stood out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's those little things that they have to find. But what else can you tell me?
It's more than just doing something different and finding something different, Brenton, or that's our attitude and our teaching. We believe the only way you can do that is to know yourself.
That's right.
Know who you are, know your individuality, and that's what you need to push.
Yeah.
We need to know that you are an individual. We cast characters. and so we're always looking at various communities and casting the communities. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at how does that person fit into that police station, that criminal family, whatever. We're looking for that specific person to fit into that community. And if you know what you are and who you are and how to pick that out of yourself to show us, then that is what helps us. That's how we know when to bring you in and when to ask you for an audition. And that's what actors have to understand. They have to help us as casting directors.
Yeah. So let's go back though, because that was all about the audition technique. So what's the first step, in your experience? What's the first step for actors who want to get into the industry?
Well, somebody who's wanting to get into the industry right now is actually trying to enter the industry at the best time. Back in the old days, as you said, you had to do a course on the weekend because that was the only act. It's a performance. But now, of course, you can just set up your iPhone and away you go. Look at all those people that are sort of doing YouTube blogs or bloggers or something like that. They're doing a performance. They can create a character. They can create somebody that is a little bit kind of, a bit of a nutso. They can create someone with vulnerability. It's their choice because it's the freedom. They're not being dictated to by a script or an audition. They actually have the freedom to create whatever they want. And with that freedom comes the opportunity to create a character or an identity that is absolutely unique.
Yeah.
Which is them.
That's right. And with a lot of the kids these days, they're doing this TikTok thing, and so they're creating their own, short videos. And look, my stepdaughter is addicted to TikTok. I can't walk into the kitchen without seeing her in front of the iPad doing all sorts of different things, and so they're if they stick with things like that and they enjoy that, and obviously they do, otherwise they wouldn't do it. Eventually, they're going to be the ones who are going to be our next generation of actors.
Sure, there's two brothers. I think they're twins, in fact, from Adelaide, and they just made films. They made films with iPhones and digital tools, and their only criteria about what the story they told is that because we don't own a car, we have to be able to catch a bus to the location. They've had millions and millions of views for their short films on YouTube, and so now they're actually in Hollywood. They've signed multi-million-dollar deals.
Oh wow!
To go to Hollywood. Why? Because they connect to that millennial generation, like your stepdaughter. They connect to them.
Yeah.
Because they know what is unique about themselves, and they know how to sell that, and they sell that on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's the way to break in.
Oh, that's right.
Just start. Just
start.
start.
Put your phone on video and just take your film. Just record.
Yeah.
Record. That's what we say to all our students. Just get in front of your iPhone and do it every day. Do it every day.
And do you think, because there's NIDA, there's WAPA, and there's other institutes like that, do you think that it's important for actors to attend schools like that as they get older?
No.
No,
it's not important. It's an option. It's a pathway.
It gives them skills. It definitely gives them skills.
Yeah.
Nothing against it, but it's not the be all and end all of being an actor. No. How many famous actors are out there that have never done one day of drama classes?
No, that's right. And I tell people the same thing. I have a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I want to go to WAPA," or because that's what we have here in WA, or you've got NIDA, I think, is in Sydney, and I just say to them, "Why do you want to go there? You don't need to go there. You can, because they cost thousands and thousands to attend." And I remember years ago when I was living in Melbourne and I was running the Waverley Youth Drama Group, which was a community theatre group. One of the the members we had, Kevin Hoey, his name was, he attended NIDA, and when he came out, he never got an acting job again. He was doing extra work and things like that prior to NIDA, but once he got out, he never worked again.
That is so true of so many graduates from all the schools.
Drama training is not a guarantee of success.
Not at all.
That's right. And as you said, get out there. You've got your iPhones, you've got your iPads, you've got your Androids. They've all got
And
video
find
qualities.
And find your own individuality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we teach. We have a different teaching because of our experience both on and off the camera. We have different teachings, a totally different teaching to any other acting coach. We in fact don't call ourselves acting coaches. We're not. We don't teach you how to act. We teach you how to audition. That is what we know. That is our experience.
Yeah.
That's what we can teach you. And auditioning is what gets...
Hello, you there?
Yeah?
Yep. Sorry, you went really quiet there.
Okay. Sorry, did you hear the last thing I said?
I heard auditioning is, and that's when it cut out.
Oh, auditioning is what gets you the job.
That's right. Well, in an audition, you're selling yourself.
That's right, but it's like, but you don't have to show you can act.
And you don't have to show that you're selling yourself.
If somebody, and let's assume sort of we're talking to people who are, anywhere between 8 and 18. If you stood in front of camera and just pretended, did an improvisation, and just pretended that you've been called into the headmaster's office, and there you are practicing what you would say to the headmaster so that you didn't get into trouble. That, as a sequence, with somebody who is ready to take risks, who's somebody who's an individual, will be captivating, will be engaging, will be very watchable, but more importantly, it is something that you can do on your own, and you do not need a script, you do not need training, you just need the kind of the focus, the point of focus, the individuality, as Robbie says, to start and to be yourself.
Yeah.
But that we make it sound very easy. It's not that easy to know how to be yourself in front of camera. It's not easy at all. You do need to know how to bring those aspects of your best aspects of yourself out. How many
times do you see your favourite movie star being interviewed, and the thing that goes through the thought that goes through your head is, they're just like they were on the screen. They're just like they are on the character. Exactly. The character they put on the screen is actually an extension of themselves.
That's right.
A combination of their own personal skills, and not they haven't turned themselves into somebody different.
And that's what acting is, an extension of yourself. You
Yeah.
just have to learn how to bring that extension out.
Yeah.
Especially for screen acting. I mean, how many screen actors have had no training? How many screen actors graduate through the kind of a school of kind of comedy? How many stand-up comedians become screen actors, successful screen actors? It's a little-known fact, but Tom Hanks started as a comedian. I mean, there's Tom Hanks, Oscar winner, who's done great dramatic roles.
Brilliant
But
actor.
started as a comedian.
Yeah. Brilliant actor. Love Tom Hanks.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Not only that, a lovely man.
Never actually met him, but yes. Okay, now this actually brings me to the next question I wanted to ask. As a director, how do you handle people who are just so full of ego that think they're God's gift to the role or whatever, and are absolutely dreadful?
We don't cast them in the first place.
I think it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and that is that why that I think it is that their kind of principle goes that sort of, why is it that stupid people think they're smarter than they really are?
Yeah.
They're stupid, but they actually have no assessment. And I don't know what the cause of it is, but what you've just suggested is similar in that way. And there's a number of people, I think it's just sort of born on a confidence. They sort of, they think they're great, it's kind of like, but it applies to society all the way through. It applies to a lot of guys when they're mansplaining something to a woman. It's like they think, they don't, and I think part of the problem is they don't listen to themselves.
Yeah.
They don't hear what they're saying. They haven't got an objectivity about sort of, their ability and somebody else's ability. I think that's the problem. What's the solution? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
in other words, you can't really answer.
no, we don't answer. As a director, what do? You don't cast them in the first place.
Well, that's right. I was running auditions for a stage play a couple of years ago, and I always ask every applicant whether they've done really well or whether they need some work. I will always ask them, if you're not successful in getting a role in this particular production, this is for community theatre, obviously. If you're not successful in that, are you willing to help backstage? And usually I get, yes, I'm happy to do that, and that shows me that they just want to be committed to the production, whether they've got a big role, small role, or not. And I remember I had this one actor, and he gave a very wooden audition. He was, he just was not prepared. I don't think he had rehearsed anything except for learn his lines. And and I asked him the same question, and he just turned around and he said, "No, I'm an actor." And I thought, well, there's your ego. It's one thing I really don't like people who have ego. I just dismissed someone from a play recently because she would not follow directions. She thought she knew better than myself, and her acting history is 2 plays last year, one being Shakespeare and the other being something else, and that was her first 2 productions since high school, and she's same age as me. She's 51, and she was just extremely hard to work with, and her ego was through the roof, and she just would not follow. She wouldn't show up on time. She wouldn't do anything. She would argue about every little point. Not just. I don't mind people who if they supply some, make a suggestion on something, and I go, okay, yeah, cool, let's try that. But this one was really difficult to work with, and because of her ego, I had to let her go, and she was playing the lead.
Oh, absolutely. Chemistry is one of the things in terms of casting. Chemistry, in respect of the chemistry between the different actors, that we will be doing what is called a chemistry test, where we put the 2 main actors, or the 2 actors we're considering for the leads, we'll put them together, in the same kind of scene, in the same audition, so that we can just see how they get on, how the kind of, whether sparks fly or whether there's a kind of a real compassion between them. But that same thinking applies to the kind of the relationship between the actor and the production as a whole. Not just the director, but the production as a whole, because you don't want the crew. You don't want your crew walking off set because of the fact of the arrogance or ego of the kind of one of the actors.
Well, that's right, and it'll happen, yeah. So,
of course.
Yeah. We're going to go to a song, and then we'll be back to talk some more. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Sure
fine.
thing.
Fantastic. So we'll play this one. This is Superstar from Jesus Christ Superstar by Murray Head and the Trinidad Singers.